You are about to discover something that will challenge everything you believed until now. Do you know that feeling that there is something more, something that you have never been able to explain? We have felt that too, and believe me, you are not alone. In this video, we will unveil a terrifying revelation that will shake your beliefs and make you see the truth that has always been before you. If you have ever questioned what is behind the mysteries of the universe, get ready, because today, you will find the answers you have always sought. And let's begin the journey of our video, but first check if you are already subscribed, and if you are not, be sure to subscribe, because on this channel I will bring a series of content of prophecies never seen before. It was an ordinary morning when the first news began to circulate. At first, they were just rumors, whispers that spread quickly, but that few believed to be true. After all, who could have imagined that something so shocking was about to be revealed? But as the day wore on, it became clear that what many had feared was finally coming to light. For years, there had been theories and speculation about a dark secret, something that could completely change the way we see the world and our own existence. Some said it was just stories made up to scare people, others believed it was something that should never be discovered. But the truth, this truth that had been so feared, was now about to be revealed, and no one was prepared for the impact it would have. It all started in a small town, where a group of scientists were working on a secret project. They had discovered something unusual, something that could not be explained by the laws of physics as we know it. It was as if a new dimension, a new kind of reality, had been discovered, but one that defied all our scientific beliefs and knowledge. They knew that what they had in their hands was dangerous, something that could shake the foundations of humanity, but they decided that the world needed to know. When the news finally spread, it caused a veritable earthquake in people's minds. Suddenly, the certainties that had guided humanity for centuries began to crumble. Religions, which for millennia had offered answers to the deepest questions of existence, were now being questioned. Science, which had always been seen as the search for truth, found itself faced with something that could not be explained. And people, ordinary and extraordinary alike, found themselves faced with a truth they were not ready to face. The revelation was frightening, not because it was difficult to understand, but because it was too simple. Simple to the point of casting doubt on everything we believe to be true. Scientists had discovered that our reality, life as we know it, was just a small part of something much larger, something that could not be perceived by our limited senses. It was as if we were living inside a dream, a simulation, where the rules that govern the universe were not the same on other planes of existence. This meant that everything we thought was real, all our certainties, were just illusions created by a greater mind, something that was beyond our comprehension. Worst of all, this knowledge did not bring answers, but rather more questions. If our reality is an illusion, what lies beyond it? Who or what is behind it all? And, most importantly, what would happen if we tried to discover the truth? As people began to process this revelation, panic set in. Some simply refused to believe it, clinging to their old beliefs with all their might. Others, however, embraced this new reality with curiosity, trying to understand what it meant for their lives. But most were simply paralyzed, not knowing how to react to such a disturbing truth. The consequences of this revelation were immediate. Institutions that had long dominated the world began to crumble. Religions lost followers, science was forced to reevaluate its foundations, and people began to question everything that had previously been considered sacred. The world was changing, and this change was irreversible. But in the midst of the chaos, a new way of thinking began to emerge. A way of seeing the world that did not rely on old beliefs, but rather on an acceptance of uncertainty, of the unknown. People began to realize that while the truth was frightening, it was also liberating. With this new perspective came the understanding that the universe is far more vast and mysterious than we could ever imagine, and that the search for truth never ends. And so, what began as the revelation everyone had feared became an opportunity for humanity to start over, to rebuild their beliefs and their lives based on a new understanding. The truth, however terrifying it may be, is always the first step toward freedom. And now, with this revelation, the world was finally ready to take that step. Imagine a secret so deep and well-kept that for generations it had remained hidden in the shadows, protected by those who feared the devastating impact it could have on the world. This secret is not just a curiosity or a mystery to be solved. It is something that can change everything we know, from the way we live to what we believe to be true. Now, this secret is about to be exposed, and what will be revealed has the power to shake the foundations of our reality. It all began with a series of strange events, occurrences that, at first glance, seemed unconnected, but that, for the few who were paying attention, were signs of something much bigger. An archaeological discovery here, an unexplained phenomenon there, and suddenly, everything began to align in a way that no one could have predicted. It was as if the pieces of an ancient, long-lost puzzle were finally falling into place, revealing a picture that no one was prepared to see. If you are enjoying the story, be sure to subscribe to the channel. The first clues came from an ancient manuscript found deep in a cave that had remained untouched for centuries. This manuscript, written in a forgotten language, contained detailed descriptions of events and knowledge that simply should not have existed at that time. The scholars who examined it were astounded, for what was described within defied all known notions of history and science. But the manuscript was only the beginning. As more and more fragments of information began to emerge, a pattern began to form. Confidential reports, classified government documents, and testimonies from people who had worked on top-secret projects began to surface. They all pointed in the same direction, a truth that had been hidden beneath layers of lies and disinformation. This secret, which was now about to be exposed, was not about something trivial. It was about the very nature of our existence, about what really goes on behind the scenes of the reality we know. The discoveries indicated that forces beyond our comprehension have been at work, manipulating events, controlling information, and shaping the world to suit their own interests. What is about to be exposed is not just a conspiracy or a theory. It is the revelation that what we have always thought to be the truth has been carefully fabricated to keep us in the dark. The institutions we trust, the leaders we follow, and the beliefs we hold have, in many cases, been built on a foundation of deception and manipulation. Now, as this truth begins to emerge, the world stands at a turning point. People who have been kept in ignorance for so long are beginning to wake up to the reality that all is not as it seems. The exposure of this secret brings with it both fear and hope, for while it is terrifying to think that we have been deceived for so long, it also opens the door to a new era of knowledge and understanding. Those who would try to suppress this truth are fighting desperately to maintain control, but it is like trying to hold water in one hand. Information has already begun to spread, and those who have been chosen to reveal these secrets are ready to do so, knowing that the world needs to know the truth, however disturbing it may be. And then, the moment arrives. What is about to be exposed will be revealed to the entire world, uncensored, without redaction. People will see, for the first time, what has really been going on behind the scenes. And this revelation will change everything, the way we understand history, the way we perceive reality, and, most importantly, the way we look to the future. Now the question remains, are we prepared to face this truth? What will we do when what is about to be exposed is finally revealed? The answers to these questions will determine not only our fate, but the fate of all humanity. Are you ready for the truth? Leave a comment. Imagine that everything you have ever believed, all the truths you have trusted throughout your life, are about to be called into question. Those certainties that gave you comfort, that shaped your worldview and guided your choices, suddenly begin to crumble in the face of a revelation that is as unexpected as it is disturbing. This is the reality you are about to face, a reality where nothing is what it seems, and where every conviction will be challenged to the limit. It all started with a seemingly insignificant discovery, something that, at first glance, seemed unimportant. It was a small anomaly, something that scientists found during a routine experiment. But the more they investigated, the more they realized that this small anomaly was, in fact, the tip of an iceberg that hid a much larger and more complex truth. It was a truth that had the power to turn the world upside down. The first signs of this revelation began to emerge subtly. Footnotes in scientific papers, cryptic comments on obscure internet forums, and reports of people claiming to have seen something that defies comprehension. For most, these signs were ignored or dismissed as mere curiosities. But for those who were paying attention, it was clear that something monumental was about to be revealed. The revelation itself was like an explosion. Suddenly, everything we thought we knew about the world, science, religion, and even our own existence was called into question. It was discovered that much of what we had accepted as truth was, in fact, a construct, something created to keep us on a predetermined path, to keep us from exploring beyond the limits of what we had been taught. Imagine, for example, that the laws of physics that we believe to be immutable are not so stable after all. That time and space, as we understand them, are merely limited interpretations of a much more fluid and malleable reality. That what we see and feel is just a fraction of a much vaster and more complex universe, where the impossible is possible and the unknown is a constant. Now, think about the implications of this. If the foundations of science, religion, and philosophy can be questioned, then what else can be questioned? What about our concept of morality, of good and evil, of the very meaning of life? What if all the answers we have sought over millennia are wrong, or at least incomplete? Those who began to explore this new truth soon realized that, in order to accept it, they would have to abandon much of what they had been taught. They had to let go of old certainties, old narratives, and be willing to face a world where questions do not have easy answers. Where each discovery brings with it more doubts, and where the search for knowledge is endless and often uncomfortable. But at the same time, there was something liberating about this new reality. Questioning everything we believed opened doors to new possibilities, new ways of seeing the world and understanding ourselves. By letting go of old certainties, we discovered that the universe is much more vast and wonderful than we could have imagined. That life, far from being predictable and controllable, is a constant mystery, full of surprises and wonders. And so, we find ourselves at a turning point. Preparing to question everything we believe is no easy task, and many will resist this change. But those who have the courage to face these new truths, to question even their most deeply held beliefs, will discover that there is a new world waiting for them, a world where knowledge is fluid, where possibilities are endless, and where the only constant is change. So, as you prepare for this journey of questioning and discovery, remember, what you are about to face is not the end, but the beginning of something much greater. An invitation to explore, to challenge, and to discover a universe where nothing is certain and everything is possible. Get ready, because your worldview will never be the same again.